Okay, so without further ado, Marcin, I'll hand over to you. So please start.
Okay, so welcome everyone. In this beautiful, well, rainy Saturday in Poland. Today I will talk about short teams, on how to use teams, how to utilize teams in project management. So fancy title, one team to rule them all. A few words about me. My name is Marcin Siewnicki. I live in Warsaw, in Poland. I work as an Office or Microsoft 365 consultant and architect in ISCG. I'm also one of SharePoint Saturday Warsaw organizer. This year we did an online event on April, and I love sharing knowledge with communities. Of course, if my cat allows me to do that. If not, I must wait for free time. Okay, so first, quick agenda. Why teams? Why do we need teams to use in project management? Why it's important? Maybe we can live without it. Then I will talk about building blocks that we can use to build our team, our dream team for project management. Then I will talk about data sources. How can we aggregate external data sources in our work? Then I will show you a very simple app, but that solves a very important problem for one of our customers. And a few words about reporting reporting in teams for projects. And at the end, some automation. So how can we what can we do to automate teams project team provisioning? So first, it's based on a real use case, real customer story, and all features that I show you come from that customer. So the company is still using them. So I think that's good. So first, we had a meeting a few months ago with our customer, and he had a problem. What's very important, that company is a software development company, so they create software not connected to Teams, but some other areas, but in Microsoft stack anyway. But no, they provision or start a lot of new projects every month, from small to very large projects, and they need to collaborate with customers, share knowledge, share information, gather documents, and work with project task, code, etc. So we had a small talk about what they needs, the current resources, current solutions. So they use project plans. So of course, it's very important because each project starts from project plans, small or big. Meetings, they spend a lot of time on meetings with teams, internal teams, external teams, customers. They create, of course, notes, bunch of notes in very different formats and places. Code repositories, because it's software company, so they must store code repository somewhere. Documents, that's the most important thing for them, because they produce a lot of documents, store them in many different places, share them, sign them digitally, archive, etc. Tasks in 2 different tools, but very important because they create tasks and assign those tasks to project members, to even external people, customers, etc. Communication, very important part, because they must somehow to communicate with teams, between members, between company and customers, etc. And of course, we have a customer somewhere, because they develop software for external customers. And the team, of course, collaborate or work with each of those artifacts. And if they invite the customer to work with them, the customer also work with specific, if not all, artifacts. So my first point, my first solution or advice was to use teams to help to better organize their work. But what was very important, they try teams. They try teams, and I get a message that they don't want one additional tool because they try teams. They tried to build a few teams, try chats, online meetings, and if chats was okay, meetings was also okay, but teams, well, it didn't work for them well because what was very, very weird for me, but I observed that in many other companies as well. So they use Teams as one additional tool, one separate space or place that they do something. So they use Teams as a place for communication, collaboration tool for part of teams, not entire team, project team. So they use a lot of tools, external tools like projects, Jira, Azure DevOps, of course, Outlook, some internal tools, some system for external, from external companies, some very specific business processes that they created, and Teams was one additional tool. They use chats, use online meetings, but if they had a document, a Word or PDF file, and they wanted to share that file with customer, they simply put that file on different SharePoint site and break permission and share that file to customers. So they forget or didn't know, in fact, that Teams, it's not only for chats and for meetings, that there's something more inside Teams. So yes, Teams is the hub for the teamwork. I love this description because it explains what is Teams. It's not collaboration tool, it's not chat, it's not for meetings. Currently, everyone uses Teams as a meeting or chat tool because of COVID, but it's only part of the, or very small part of the entire tool. So then I get, what about that hub? What does it mean? Does it's hub? So we have a lot of building blocks. We have a lot of features that we can use inside Teams to create our team for project management. We have teams, we have channels, tabs that we can use to display or work with external sources. We have custom applications, we have automation using Power Automate, notification and advanced features like bots, adaptive cards, extensions and modules. Today I will talk or show you only basic blocks because talking about all of them would take us at least 3 or 4 hours. Yes, so about the building blocks, I will show you my team. Where's my team? Teams, okay. And I will show you what we did for that specific customer to create a team for project management, for projects. Okay. So we started from structure because it's very important. They try to use Teams for project management for different projects, but each team created a separate structure, separate team, and they used it in very different way. So each team had a very different experience, and that they spotted the different problems, issues. So I create a simple team. It's a private because it should be a private. Say project, what we call it? Okay. And we've got one project. Come on. Yeah, so we have a basic team with some name. We can, of course, invite people, entire team to our project. But we start with something different because they started from 5 to 10 new projects every month. So as you can see here, we can have a lot of teams in our navigation, from project related to other teams, with icons, without icons, with default icons. So it can easily end up with a huge list, and it's not easy to navigate using that list. We can of course use search, but we found out that it's very easy. Not that one. Manage team. It's much easier to navigate and use teams if we use some color patterns for icons, because we can change icon for each team. I can upload a picture. I have this one. So solid background with one letter, maybe subtle icon inside. Okay, why? No. Okay, we'll wait a few moments. And as you can see there, each project team has the same icon. So it's easier to navigate through teams. If I have 15 or 20 teams, 5 of them for projects, it's much easier for me to find that project teams. Then we divided communication inside project teams into channels, but we use 2 features. One, it's private channels, because we wanted to invite customers for teams, for projects. That our customer used very specific approach, but they invited his customers to that team, so external users to teams, but they used standard channels, so they share everything inside, and if they want to share something very specific or some confidential information, so they create additional SharePoint site, break permission, and share that link, and so they end up with at least 2 sources for documents. That's not good. We don't want to duplicate places where we store documents for project. So create a basic structure with 2 private channels and 2 standard channels, and we using icons or emojis to easier navigate through channels. Okay, so red will be for internal communication. Okay, and it will be a private channel. Okay. Then this time is purple icon, and it also private channel. Okay, so we have 2 private channels, and then test, but also with icon. This time it will be a green, and this one will be a standard. And the last one, we have a yellow circle and also standard channel for releases. So we create a basic structure, very basic, only 4 channels, for custom channels with general, of course, with colors, with emojis, and to private, to standard. So then we can easily invite external users, external customers to our team and share with them only information that we want. So in standard channel, we can put information that's not confidential, that we can easily share with our customer. And if we want to share some information, but only to specific group of people, maybe half of our team and a customer, or maybe only with our team. So we can use private channels to secure that information. And we have internal communication, releases, tests, and DevTalks channels. So if we create additional project or a member or developer or tester or whatever, enter a new, and will be invited to a new project, we will add him to that team, and he'll find that there's the same basic structure. So red always for internal communication, yellow always for releases, green for tests, and purple for DevTalks. So it's much easier to navigate through the new project teams. So we don't need to create a README file or help or create some help document to talk where he can find specific information. Same structure for all. That's very important, because if we have 5-10 new projects per month, it's much easier to use that pattern. And it's very simple. Only colors, no specific emojis, no specific icons, because it's much easier to use solid, tiny emoji with solid color. Okay, I will check if I can change my icon here. Okay, it works. So I have a new project team, same icon, as I can hide a few from there. Okay. So we have a basic structure, and we can populate that structure to new teams. But before go to next step, I will show you something more, because we can use Teams, of course, for communication and meetings. That's very popular. But there's no. I want my files. Not so fast today. And this one works. But Teams has also very great features for file storage and collaboration on those files. And it's very important, because we don't want to duplicate storage elements, spaces where we can store documents, because if we store part of SharePoint, part of Teams, part somewhere else, we'll end up with a mess, and we won't be able to find documents or information in those documents quickly. And it's very important. So we can put documents inside Teams. Okay. We can easily put some documents here. It will quickly upload. And if I invite an external customer, he will be able to use that document, download it, upload a new version, or work directly from Teams. Okay, so I have a few documents here. And what's also very important, and for project management is crucial, is that we can use, or we can upload, of course, many different type of files, but we can also upload a MPP, so Microsoft project files. But if I click say document, it will display or load me a Word online or Excel online inside Teams. But it doesn't work for project files. So we are not allowed to, we can't simply click and see a project file inside Teams, but we can download it. That's some kind of workaround. But for me, better solution is to use open and opening project. Open project, yes. And it open that project file, MPP file, inside my project. Come on, where's my project? Oh, we have a project. But what's very important, this project file is connected to my team. So if I click save, all changes will be saved automatically to my project team. So I don't need to save it locally and upload it to my team. That's very important. And for that customer, that was even more important because they use emails to share project files, to send project files through team and through stakeholders management. And it wasn't good and it didn't work well. So for project files, we can upload project files. We can open it using project, but as a desktop application. If we use project online, we can use project online and embed it as a website here, but there's no native functionality to visualize to open the project files inside Teams like Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. So keep it in mind, but it's very good to keep all files related to project inside one team. Of course, we can divide the files into specific channels, but keep it in one project team. So we don't need additional spaces, storages, different SharePoint sites. Or I found that some teams in that customer, they shared files using their own OneDrive for Business. So totally different places, and they simply can't find it after project ends. So we have a basic structure with channels, with some visual effects, emojis, and very simple icons. So what next? Okay, where's my PowerPoint? What next? Then we moved to very important part, because in each project we use dedicated services or tools for code repository, for task management, for issues management, etc. That customer is still using Jira for task management, issue management, etc., and planning, and Azure DevOps for code-related tasks like issues in code, code repositories, etc. So we find it useful. So okay, what about that tools? How can we use that in Teams? So I said that Teams is the hub for work. So we don't want to switch between Teams and different tools, but it would be better to stick with Teams. Okay, switch back here. So using Teams, it's very similar to Power Automate or Power Apps. We have a lot of connectors or apps that can connect and gather resource data from different data sources, mostly Microsoft, but there's a lot of connectors and apps that work with external or third-party services, data sources, etc. There's a few icons for that apps. So of course, Microsoft Stack, but we can also aggregate and consume data and information from GitHub, from Asana, Trello, YouTube, Salesforce, etc. But if we go to my Teams, so we can use that to aggregate external data sources. into our team, into our project, we can use tabs and use tabs to add new features. So we can have what we have here, a huge list with, that's not all, if we go to manage apps and more apps. So huge list with Microsoft and third-party tools. So if you want to, or if we plan to use Teams for project management, and we use third-party tools, not Microsoft tools, you can easily go to Teams and check if that external tool is prepared application or connector for Teams. Is it there? If not, we can go to that vendor and check. Maybe they have something on their page, or we can use it in different way or create our own app. But there's a lot of out-of-the-box ready-to-use apps. And I will show you two apps. I will go back to my team. Because with that customer, we started with Jira and Azure DevOps. So we start with Jira. Of course, we talk about cloud services. To connect with on-premise services, it's also possible, but we need some additional work to connect to that on-premise. Yeah, we have Jira Cloud. I must first add my Jira connector to my team. Come on, please load. Okay, a few seconds for coffee. Or maybe not. I try to general maybe. Okay, so I switch to maybe to Azure DevOps. Let's see how it works. Yes, add. Okay, so I quickly add Azure DevOps app to my team. So I must select my organization. Yes, this one. So there's my test account with some test project. This one. This one, and save for overview. And that's it. What we have here is entire dashboard that we can create inside Azure DevOps. We can add it to Teams. So I don't need to switch from Teams to my Azure DevOps and go or do something in Azure DevOps in separate browser or maybe tab. I can do this using only Teams. So, of course, for code related work, I must switch to Visual Studio. But if I want to create a bug or go to that bug, I click and it will display my bug inside my team, inside my tab, so I don't need to switch to a different tool. Let's say this one is done. Yeah, save and close. It will switch. Let's say refresh it. Yeah, 4. I can also go there and add some comments. I can modify tasks. I can add tasks, some comments in progress, save and close. Of course, if I click some specific feature, I will be redirected to my Azure DevOps. But I can, with basic stuff, I can work directly using my my Teams. And I have here a lot of statistics information, so I don't need to switch to Azure DevOps and check how many bugs I have, how many new commits, new bugs, new tasks. I can work with that info directly using my Teams, my tab. And I can customize that dashboard because I can create my own unique and related to my current work dashboard inside Azure DevOps and display it on my team. So if I go there and Yes, I will select it once again. Yes, I must, of course, log into my. So I can select the project. Of course, for me, it would be the same. But as you can see, I have two dashboards. One is by default, and this project overview is my custom own. So it's my custom dashboard. If I go to my Azure DevOps and modify that, it will be automatically refreshed here. So that's for Azure. Very, very simple. We don't need to code anything, create custom apps, power apps, automation. Use it, create dashboard, and use that Azure DevOps application inside Teams. Okay, let's try Jira again. And no, Jira Cloud doesn't work on Saturday. I switch to my previous team, project team. Maybe no. No, I can't. I'm not able to show you Jira today, but it works the same way. I go back to here. Try it again. Leave it here maybe. So if I add Jira, I must connect to my Jira account. I must provide my link to my organization inside Jira Cloud. Then I must prepare or connect directly to my filter view inside Jira, and it will show me the list with my tasks from Jira. And I can create a task directly from Teams. I can assign tasks, move tasks, and work with tasks and bugs and other artifacts that are inside Jira directly from my Teams. I don't need to switch from tool to tool to other browsers, etc. I can use only Teams, and that was very important because we don't need to switch between teams, between apps, because that was, I think, that is very common mistake and problem issue in many companies, because they use Teams as one additional tool. So they implement Teams, create great application stuff inside Teams, but they must switch from tool to tool to tool to tool. And end up with 100 tabs inside browser, with 5 to 10 desktop tools, and it's not effective. And if the laptop or computer must be restarted, it's a disaster, because all applications will be closed, all tabs could disappear, and that seems funny, but I found that it's really issue and a real pain for some customers. So it's great to use Teams as one digital workplace, digital desktop for our work, so we can minimize external tools as much as possible. So we can use one tool for 80% of work, and maybe 2 or 3 additional tools that can't be used inside Teams, like Visual Studio or dedicated applications. Okay, one last chance for Jira. No, today is not the day for Jira Cloud, but it works. Maybe not on Saturday, but in work days it works. And if there's a tool that doesn't have any dedicated app for Teams, there's one app called Website. and that we can use to embed any website in our Teams. Okay, and that's my cut, sorry. So if our apps is not or doesn't have any dedicated app for Teams, we can use, and we can access it using web browser, and it's accessible from internet. From the internet, we can use website tab and type URL to that tab. Let's say Microsoft. Okay. That one. Yeah, and using that website tab, we can embed any website that is accessible from the internet, or we can use or embed even Power Apps here. So it's very simple. There's some, from time to time, you can find that it needs to be refreshed or something like that, but we can use that tab to use services that doesn't have any Teams dedicated app. So it's not a perfect solution, but it works very well, and you can use it without any additional configuration. If you need to sign into that page to provide some credentials, it works. So you can log in with your account and use it as additional tab in your project team. I will leave it here. Okay. Okay, so go to our presentation. So that's about data sources. Yes, and what about if we have some tools? That's not, well, in fact, that's not tools, but some kind of processes or third-party tools, our custom tools that we can't move to cloud easily, or is no one knows how it works, but we need to use it somehow. And that customer has some kind of application. So they created a process, and every single week, each project manager sent an email to higher management and put into that email very huge table, so plain text, with a project name and risks related to that project, some remediation steps, current situation, etc. So each email contain about, I don't know, I don't remember, but from 10 to even 40 lines of text. And it was very critical application. So it's business critical application, and they wanted to move it to Teams. So what about that kind of stuff? So we created a very simple, very simple application using Power Apps, and we simply embed this Power App application inside each project team. So not only we cover entire or all requirements from previous application, from process, but we also add some new capabilities and features. So how it works, how it looks like. There is a Power Apps, where is that one? Power Apps tab, so we can use it. Yes, I would like to add that one. So if we create a Power Apps in our tenant, Office 365 tenant, we can go there, select that one application. Of course, we must have access to it. And Teams will upload and embed and display information from that application inside our Teams, inside our channel. But that's not all. It's fully functional, so we can add some new risk. Missing Jira. Yes. So I can work it using that. It's active, impact 5, probability 5, date. Projects, I don't have any info here. And save it. And it will automatically display or refresh all data sources to that related to that application. And building that kind of application, for this one, it took me from 2 to 3 hours to find out the current business process and create 2 SharePoint lists and some very basic view of that items. But we can embed that application inside our team. But what's more important that with latest, or it's from March, I think, Power Apps update, we can get context from teams. So I can easily go there and find out where my team, where my Power App is, in which team or in which channel my app is used. So I can get context. So this app can easily know if it's a Project Saturday team or webinar team. And using that context, we can easily filter data in those applications based on that on that context info. So it's very important because we can create one app for 2,000 project teams, and we don't need to configure it after we add it to the team. So it will automatically filter data or save data to proper project, to proper data source, proper, I don't know, SQL, whatever we connect to it. So it's more intelligent right now. So we can use it easily, quickly, built from basic applications to very complex that will cover our entire or most of our business requirements. And it looks pretty easy, and well, it's very easy, in fact, but it entirely covers all my customer needs. And they don't need to use email anymore for reporting capabilities, because they can simply go there, add some risks, or entire team also can go there and see that there's some risks in our projects, or maybe I know something that I must or should I add as a risk. So they can work with that app, add risks, filter using or edit current existing risks, and from the stakeholders, from the higher management, they can easily go to the SharePoint list, filter that list, or create a simple Power BI report or export data to Excel, whatever they need. But it's much easier to work with that kind of data and that kind of application than using emails and read about 10 emails each week and find out what's happening inside projects and what risk and etc. So using Power Apps, we can easily embed Power App as a tab, and we can connect to context from and get context from our teams to filter, to add some logic to our app. So it's also very important that we not limited only to display data or allow to add some new data without any logic behind it. Okay, so that's about Power Apps and building apps. We can you can easily build your app and embed it to team. Yes, the next requirement, it was reporting, because for higher management, it's the most important part to get info. What's happening with my projects. For project management, for project managers, it's also very important. Where is my project? If there's any stacks, stop blockers, impediments, etc. So for that requirement, what we can use, what we can do, well, we can use Excel, because we can add Excel file here with some charts, with some data tables, etc. So it is some kind of reporting workaround, I would say. But if we have a huge Excel file with a lot of reports, a lot of charts inside, we can go upload it and connect to it immediately. So we don't need to modify anything. So it's some kind of solution, but we can also use Power BI. And it works very, very well because it's designed for, well, in fact, to work together with teams. So it has a dedicated component, dedicated app for reporting. So for this one. So if the only thing I need to is to put my report on Workspace and share my report to my team or teams. And using that, why it's called, okay. Project report. So using Teams, I can go there and check what's going in my project. I can filter it. Yeah, it's not much to filter, but it's fully functional Power BI report. We have all features that we can find in Power BI if we go to the Power BI service. So I can navigate, click on each. There's not much to filter, but it works the same way as full Power BI. So it's much better to use Power BI, or if we need to embed a Power BI or use Power BI data inside our team, it's much easier to embed it on our channel, maybe, or internal channel or private channel to limit access to that Power BI. But it's very easy to use. Prepare. If we already use Power BI, it's only 5 to 10 seconds to embed that kind of report inside our team. But if we use other tools, not from Microsoft Stack, well, there's no click for here or any other tools. So for other tools that's accessible from the internet, we can use website tab, or we must provide some or create some custom code for our reports, because or use it as a separate tool, because there's no, for reporting we have, well, in fact, Excel and Power BI tab inside. Inside that, if we, Teams, so out of the box features, if we go to the analytics and BI, we have a lot of well, Power BI, and well, from that, in fact, there's a lot of other very, very specific apps for reporting, but there's no place for big. There's no apps for big vendors. Yeah, Google Analytics, but that's not for reporting for projects. But we have a project Power BI, so I think, and I suggest to use it as a first use or first choice solution to report inside Teams, because we don't need to switch to a different tool. We can use it inside our team. Where's my, okay. Yes, and we can also use, if we have Excel file and start with Excel file, that's also has some kind of solution. So we can upload Excel file, display it, or use it as a tab, as a current project reporting solution, and then use Power BI to build reporting using that Excel file. That's also some kind of solution, and you can consider it as a reporting solution. Okay, and the last one, because we can create a very good, fancy team with connected tabs, with files, with channels. We can invite a lot of guests, a lot of customers. That's good, but that's only one team. Yeah. So what about some automation? If I need to provision new teams every day, what about that? So you can go here and create a team based on existing one. So I can go and project, where's my project? Using that one. So I can select which parts I would like to copy from that existing team, and it will create the same team with same channels. Okay, yeah, there's some, come on. So it's here. Yeah, as you can see, there's only 2 channels, no private channels. What about apps? Oh, I can see that there is ISCG web. There is project report tab, but there's no Jira, and there's no My Power App. No, I can't find it. It has some limitations, and it's still manual process. So we need to go there, click create, select template, and create and add missing parts that there's not inside. But there's also a different approach, more robust and more okay, I must find it first, and simply better, because we can use Power Automate and Graph API to fully automate Teams provisioning process. So we can create a quite simple flow, and that flow, well, can select some trigger for that. For that customer, I create a very simple list, SharePoint list, with only few fields. So I create a project. Okay, you can add some description. Is it private? Yes. Owner. I will be an owner. Duplicates. There's only me. That's it. And to that list, and based on that list, I created a very simple flow that gets data from that list, and using Graph API, I connect to Graph API and create team. I can also add members to each of the teams of team. I can create private channels. I can even add some power apps to my channels. And then grant permission. I can grant access to from my team, for my external users, for my customers, etc. And then I can add some, here's basic approval for that process. So I can start approval process before I create a team. Maybe there's a logic that I don't want teams from small projects, only for bigger projects. And I can create multiple templates for projects. So software developers, development projects will use that kind of template, and maybe marketing projects should use different templates, so that we can use it only using the flow and simple SharePoint list with a few options. and it will take some time, but okay, let's go back to my team. There's notes there. Okay, no. Oh, okay, we got this. So it's created, project 365 Saturday with 4 channels, and yeah, project online here and risk assessment app as power up. If there's any tab that need to be connected to third-party tools or services like Jira, we need to go there and connect it manually. But entire team will be created. No, where's this one? We can use Power Automate, or if you prefer, we should use. We can also use Azure Logic Apps for that, so we can choose the right tool for us from the cost perspective or IT management or other requirements, but we can use our Flow in Power Automate or Logic Apps, and we can quickly build and connect that provisioning process to our existing project management or project flow or process, because we can start that project or based on a CRM task or dynamic task, or a new item on SharePoint list, or maybe new record in a SQL Server. It depends on our requirements. For that customer, we use only SharePoint list as a trigger for our project, or to provision our new team for project management. Okay, and that's for automation. And after about 4 weeks, it worked for them, and that customer was happy. So I would like that you take that. Please use that's the slide. Give me a second. It's not so easy to switch. That's one. So use Teams as a hub for teamwork, not an additional service, not additional tool. Use it as a hub. And if you need only one takeaway from that session, so please keep it in mind. Teams is the hub for teamwork, not additional tool for communication, chat, etc. Okay, so that's all from my side. I see that we can have also only 3 minutes. So do you have any questions? I check my chat.
Thank you, Marcin. It was really good session with lots of information in that. And I'm sure the project managers, if they are in the audience, they will be definitely happy looking at this. And also, when you actually showed information about automating team channel creation, just for everyone to know, and if you are more technical, the PowerShell is another alternative approach to automate team and channel creation. So that's one more things to consider as well.
Yes, you're right. That's more technical, but it's possible.
Sorry, Marcin?
Yeah, that's the next one, more advanced, but also some kind of solution to create a new team.
Absolutely, yeah. So, does anyone have any question for Marcin? Feel free to put your question in the chat window, or you can unmute yourself. We got 1 more minute to go before our next session starts.
Okay, if not, thank you guys for watching my session.
Thank you, Marcin. Thanks for spending your time with us and providing a brilliant session with the presentation. So thank you very much. So we have a next session coming up from Adnan Amin, and this is regarding managing and customizing security for Microsoft Teams. As we know, everywhere security is very important, and along with the Microsoft Teams, that's one of the key factors as well. So let's go ahead. Without further ado, I'll check. Adnan, are you online?
Yeah, I am online. Can you hear me properly?